This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Promises Behavioral Health. Promises is a family of mental health and addiction treatment centers based out of Nashville, Tennessee, and they're ready to help you or your loved ones stay committed and achieve your promise of recovery. So if you're looking for some help, you got some questions, you don't know who to turn to, let me tell you how you can reach out to these guys. PromisesBehavioralHealth.com/sober-guy. They got a great page. We have a great partnership. They have a lot of great people that are in recovery themselves and have family in there. So you can definitely reach out to them, rely on them, trust them. Let me give you the phone number if you'd like to give them a call as well. It's 888-205-1890. That's 888-205-1890. And tell them that you heard about them from That Sober Guy podcast. Man, lots going on this week. I'm pumped for our guest today. My good buddy, Mark Serritella, is going to be here. But before we get to him, let me also tell you about some live meetings that you can jump on. There's a lot of people out there looking for meetings. A lot of the 12-step clubhouses and meeting places are all closed down, obviously, as we're dealing with this shutdown of society in some sense. But my sponsor, Buddy C, heads one up. It's an online daily AA meeting via Zoom. It's every night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And you can catch me in there sometimes. It's one of my fallbacks. I was in there all week last week and a couple times this week. It's really been helping to get me through these times and make sure I'm staying connected. So I encourage you to do the same. Just go to Zoom. That's www.zoomaaemails.com. And you just, if it's your first time, all you do is click on the button that says join meeting. There's no code. You'll be able to jump right in and get yourself a meeting. And then I also want to tell you about Rooted. Promises Alumni Communities has a program called Rooted, and my buddy Patrick from Promises heads up this community. There's plenty of online meetings to choose from. It's weekly. They have meetings all throughout the day, and it's for all people in all forms of recovery, no matter what you're recovering from or what brought you to recovery. And you can check those out. They have a calendar on there by going to promisesbehavioralhealth.com/rooted, and you can check those out and log in there as well. The important thing is that we stay connected, my people. All things I mentioned, I'll put in the show notes so you can find them. I encourage you to use them, share them, and stay sober. Let's get this podcast on the road. Really excited today to do this one. We're going to lighten it up a little bit. We're going to have some fun today. So let's do this.
That Sober Guy podcast contains adult content, merciless truth, and emotional nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
I'm Shane Raymer. You're listening to That Sober Guy podcast, and we help people stay sober. You can check us out at thatsoberguy.com. You can connect with us on Instagram at RealThatSoberGuy and on Twitter at Shane Raymer. It's supposed to be opening day today, damn it. I'm still rocking the A's hat, Oakland A's, in memory of what could have been. I was going to take Cash to our annual opening day ceremonies, but that'll be postponed until further notice. We'll make the best of it, watch a little baseball tonight, I'm sure, some reruns. But I got my good buddy Mark Serritella here today. Mark's work includes Adam Devine's House Party on Comedy Central, The Adam Carolla Show. He's also the producer of About Last Night podcast with comedian Adam Ray. And he's a frequent face at the world famous Comedy Store and the Hollywood Improv on Melrose. And one of the things I love about Mark too, he's toured he's toured in over 35 countries, entertaining the U.S. troops, man. So some good stuff there. He's a great dude, and it's awesome to have him on the show. Mark, what's up, man? How are you?
Good morning, Papa.
Papa. Oh, yes.
I want to bring you everywhere for that intro. That was great. If I could go to the grocery store and you could introduce me that way to the cashier, that'd be awesome.
Dude, that'd be so great. You'd just be like, you'd be behind me with a cart full of toilet paper and like maybe a couple of canned foods. And I'll just go, yes, my good buddy Mark Serritella at over 35 countries, entertaining the U.S. troops. Here he is. Yes, I love it.
I hope you're not joking.
No, I'm not. We're going to do it. I'll come down to Los Angeles as soon as I can leave Vacaville here in the old East Bay area. What's up, man? How's Southern California treating you?
Well, things right now, this routine is not that far off from what I usually do, just minus shows. Because at this point, I don't work a regular job, so I am home a lot. Yeah. So I've been really liking, well, after I heard this great interview with this Dr. Agus on Howard Stern 3 days ago, and I realized that everything's going to be okay. It's going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of vigilance. And if you do get sick, don't panic.
Yeah.
After I heard this guy, I just felt a lot better about everything. And I go, all right, take a step back and let's start getting to the things you haven't gotten to. Some of these ideas have been on my plate for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, just organizing my house, organizing my life, and getting to these little creative projects as a comic that I just haven't been getting to because it needs time. And when you're doing stand-up at night, you're kind of not on like a hamster wheel because your brain is working better than that. But, you know, you just need time. It's slowed me down, and I've definitely really liked that.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, man, that you're saying that right now, because Jess and I have been going through some similar experience in that, and we were just so damn busy, man, and just like on the go, and this has really forced us into a spot where we got to step back and just chill out for a minute and really recognize kind of where we're at, who we are in some sense, and what's really important at the same time. And it's funny too. I heard a podcast with Dr. Drew. And he had, it was Ask Dr. Drew. It was just, let's see, he put it out on the 18th. So yeah, last week, I think, or Friday night, I was listening to it while I was out here dicking around in the garage, putting some stuff together. And same thing, man. I was like tripping out all week. And then I finally just realized that I'm not in charge. I can't control any of this stuff. And of course, hearing some positivity from a couple of doctors on there. You had another guy, Dr. Gowder, on there, I think. And they were just saying like, and then you look at the odds too. It's like 0.0003%. I want to diminish the fact that people are getting this thing and dying from it. It's terrible.
And it's surprising who's getting so sick from. There's a great comedian in super great shape, Michael Yo, he was in the hospital for a week, and he felt like he almost died, and he had pneumonia and was on a ventilator, and he was or a respirator, and he was a college football athlete who does not drink and is in phenomenal shape and doesn't do drugs, and wound up. I think he just got home from the hospital 2 days ago. I hope I'm not talking out of turn, but yeah, there is a little percentage of people that get sick. But go ahead.
Dude, yeah, no, it's crazy, and it's affecting people. It seems like in different ways, where it's some really, really severe, just like that, and we think that it only hits people with older, maybe not as healthy immune systems, but it's really shown that that's not the case.
Well, I guess sleeping is a lot of it. So I took that as just a note. I've always loved to sleep. So I go, this Dr. Agus was like, get as much rest as possible so that your immune system is firing off if you do get it. And I go, note taken, 2 naps a day from now on.
Taking an adult. I think, when we talked yesterday, you said, I don't know about tomorrow. I might have to get my adult nap in. It's like, damn it.
Oh, no, pimp nap.
Oh, yeah, pimp nap.
Adult nap.
Talking about my pimp nap. Yeah, that'd be great, dude. I can't get a nap around here, man. My kids would be jumping on my head in no time.
Yeah.
I'd be trying to.
That pimp nap, that came from do you remember back in the day, pimps and hoes parties?
Was that on, was it a show? Pimps and Hoes Parties?
It was a style of party back in like the late 90s where
men
dressed as pimps, the girls were dressed as hoes. And so my friend and I are going to our first one, and we're stoked. We got our clothes on, and we're drinking, we're doing bong hits, and we're getting everything that night was pimp. Like, yo, can I get a pimp Jack and Coke? Can I get a pimp hit? Can I get then we went to this, I'll get a pimp burger, I'll get a pimp that. And then before the party, we tired ourselves out, and we go, I think I need a pimp nap. We wound up taking a nap and like missing the party. So
with your pimp clothes on, that reminded me. I still have yet to do this, but in our 20s, I always wanted to dress up for Halloween like a strip club DJ and like walk around with my little speaker and a microphone, and then have Jess be my stripper and just go, "Please welcome to the stage, Veronica." But I've never been able to do it yet. I need to do that. That's fun.
So funny. Well, maybe because how does it go from that to just to like drinking alone and losing a job? Because that's the trajectory.
Yes, it is. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
You want to romanticize it because you go, "Oh, it was a pimp nap. It was funny. It was this." It's like, no, we didn't even make it to the party we got dressed up for.
Yep, that was it. Passed out. No offense to the Veronicas out there either. I don't think any Veronicas. No, nothing there. But man, dude, so we we kind of hit it off, man, when we met down in West Hollywood. I came down. You helped me set this show up live That Sober Guy podcast at the Improv, which was a great time, man. We had a really good time. I appreciate you helping out doing that. And I know we had some new people come out to check it out that hopefully helped bridge that gap between some people, that are struggling with alcohol, with addiction. And then, so we ended up going to this meeting too in East Hollywood around that time. And do we want to touch on that a little bit? It was a little different, man. It's like, what was the deal with that? It was dark. It was in a theater. Yeah, it was cool. It was different, man.
I've never seen anything like it. I've worked, various 12-step programs. I like to keep the first letter of them anonymous as well. But that was the weirdest meeting I've definitely ever been to because you remember, it was in a very, very dark theater with barely a toilet. It was like old rickety seats, but then these people were allowed to do not only crosstalk, but you were encouraged to roast each other, but none of these people were trained comedians. So some of it was just insulting.
Yeah. They were just talking shit back and forth. And it was and you couldn't see, you could barely see your hand in front of you. It was an odd thing, but it's funny when you catch those types of meetings, or even if it's not a meeting, just something in life, it definitely creates a moment in time that you never forget.
Yeah, totally. There was also a couple of girls in there that you go, this is the type of girl who would pull me off the wagon. Not someone I need to be around right now.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. They were very open. They were very open about their, extravagant, whatever it is, escapades, I guess we'll call it that.
Right.
But that was a good time, man. How's your neighbor with the apocalypse truck, by the way? What was the deal with that? He had a paddle or something on the. Oh man, that was a trip.
Luckily, I never met that guy. What that was a. You can find that on my Instagram, by the way. Just Mark Serritella if you want to see this photo. It's a banjo welded to the hood, but then scraped and painted green, almost like a matte finish. And then there were spikes all around it, and then skulls on those spikes. So I haven't seen Mad Max.
Yeah, Mad Max.
It's the Mad Max. Is that what the Mad Max vehicle looks like, or is it kind of in that world?
It's got to definitely be in that world. I'm looking at it right now, and I love the quote that you put under it too. It says, "Living near a guy who has this truck is my new rock bottom."
Totally. No, it really was, because I've just over the last 3.5 years, I've just been much more healthy, and I've definitely had a crazy bottom performing that I'll tell you about later. But
yeah,
just life has been better. And then I walked by him, and it was such a reminder that I still lived in the neighborhood that I had to move to after getting a DUI or a reckless driving. Really? They knock it down. I got exactly a .08. They go, it's your first offense ever. We're knocking it down. It's just reckless driving. Because I was texting on the highway, and the guy was anyway. So, but
you were texting. Hold on, you were texting on the highway.
Yeah, I was coming from a show down in San Diego. This was right before Uber existed.
Oh shit!
And so you would roll the dice back then, because a taxi ride was $160 back and forth. I'm not saying that's right, but you know the deal. Totally. And everyone else does too. There's a reason that DUIs are way down in the state, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, it was just a brutal reminder that I go, okay, I gotta even do better, because I've always kind of considered myself kind of like a B student. I got straight B's in high school, got straight B's in college. I basically went to an Ivy League school, got B's there. And so, I look at that, I go, God, I'm still kind of I should probably not be in this neighborhood, even though North Hollywood is a lot better than it used to be.
Yeah.
When I first moved here, it was drug dealers, and maybe it's just the crowd you're running with too, but it was super loud, super young, kind of ghetto, for lack of a better term, just very dangerous. And now it's a lot better, but we still have vehicles like that. Do you know that truck is actually a hybrid?
Are you kidding me?
No,
I'm looking at it again right now.
Half
the
normal,
hoods,
half piece of shit.
Yeah, the hood's all rusted out. It's definitely Mad Max is a good way to describe it, because I'm looking at it back. And if you're listening, check it out at Mark Serritella on Instagram. But it's definitely he's got even got the
shocking, grill. Honestly,
yeah, it's got.
And I haven't met the person, so I don't know if it's ironic or if that's someone who's leading that life.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe I would say maybe he came from Burning Man. I was just at Burning Man, bro, so I just rolled out. Yeah. But I mean, that's what it kind of reminds me of too.
He calls it half ironic, half amazing.
There you go. That works. Well, so you're in North Hollywood now. You're in the Hollywood area, basically. But originally, you're from New York, right? Yankees fan. I always see you rocking the Yankees hat.
Yep.
I got the A's hat on, right? I did not.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I'm from Albany. I'm from it's capital city. It's one of the oldest cities in the United States. I think it's the oldest county actually, and was originally settled by the Dutch. It was called Fort Orange. I believe the British won it in a war or something. I don't even know. But it's one of those small cities up in upstate New York. Anything in the Northeast, small city, the drinking is you're bored. Really? You know what I'm saying? Especially, I mean, there's sometimes 8 months of winter.
Dang, yeah, it's not
and
a whole lot to do.
If you then get a rainy summer, and you've only seen 15 to 18 sunny days in a year. Yeah, supplements. You know what I'm saying?
You need that vitamin D, man. It's crucial.
Yeah, I used to go tanning all the time there, just without any apologies. It's like, you look real tan now. I go, yeah, I haven't seen the sun. I've been going to a tanning booth, and it does work. You'd be in a good mood for like 3-4 days because 99% of feeling good is looking good. I learned that from a toupee commercial. You know the one I'm talking about? That guy, the Dr. Bosley, where there's like that Kenny Loggins looking guy. He's like, 99% of feeling good is looking good. Like the other 1% is not wearing a toupee.
He just reminded me too with that of is it Maurice on I think it's Goodfellas when he's the toupee guy and De Niro strangles him with the telephone cord.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he goes, give me my. Actually, you know what? When I was, it's funny you bring that up. When I was in New York last time, I stayed in Queens, and that bar is still open.
Really?
And I believe, totally. If you go to New York, you can Google search Goodfellas locations. I went there during the day. I was the only one there, and phenomenal burger too. I sat at the bar. I sat right in the corner where they sat. And I think that's also on my Instagram. I think it's one of my by the way, I'm not very big on it. It's odd. We've talked about two things that are on my Instagram because I don't put up that much. But if you go to New York, you can Google search those locations. And that bar is in this really quaint, cool Queens neighborhood. Food was amazing. The bartender knew exactly why I was there. I got the Goodfellas burger. French fries, great. Syrup was great. And I was really healthy at the time. Just the New York eating spots are just great. I usually try to do like either a movie location or wherever Anthony Bourdain has gone.
Oh, nice.
Because you can Google search his name and the city you're in. Little pro travel tip. Anthony Bourdain, and then wherever you are. And I try to go to where he went because he just knows these great spots.
Yeah. Now, were you aware that the Yankees have won 27 World Series titles? I was not aware of that until today.
Totally.
I had to look it up.
Do you guys know that if the A's won... Let's see, if the A's won 18 in a row, they would still be one behind the Yankees.
Oh, man. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder. We have 9. Oakland A's have 9. I didn't realize.
You have 9. So if you won 17 in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. But still, I mean, that's coming from back, like you had the Philadelphia A's, Kansas City A's, I think. So, I mean,
oh,
the
really?
Whole franchise.
Does that count all that?
I think it counts all of it.
Basically?
Yeah. So
that's. The A's are frightening, man. Those early 70s A's teams were nasty.
Oh, yeah, dude. You had Charlie Finley and, man, dude, Vida Blue, Raleigh Fink, all them old guys.
I think the first big free agent signing was actually the Yankees of Catfish Hunter, who I think played for you guys before.
He did. He did.
Yeah, totally. And that was, I think that's kind of the start of like people shifting teams sometimes. Yeah. But those early 90s teams were great too. With the, would you consider Canseco and McGuire early 90s or late 80s? Well, the series, it's 88, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's so I would consider it 80s because they were in the 88, 89 World Series. That was the Bash Brother days. That was the Battle of the Bay.
Oh my God, those were fun teams to watch. You remember because you were, how old are you?
I'm 38. I was born in 81, so I was about 7, 8 years old.
Oh, so you were tiny. So so I'm 43, so I was 12. But I remember that being like the beginning of testosterone for me and being like, this is what you do. You bash for. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Canseco. You go, I would like to look like Jose Canseco. You look like, I look nothing like him.
Yeah, but I feel you. It was like that time where, man, you just like, you wanted to just get ripped and just smash baseballs. You know what I mean? That was like the beginning of just the home run hitting extravaganza after that. People just juicing up and just dropping bombs.
And we were hard on those guys as far as because that was kind of the beginning of the steroids era.
Yeah.
And at first, because I'm a stats guy, I don't know if you are, but I love looking at baseball stats and, and I was like, oh, they ruined the game. Looking back on it, that was baseball's fault. You need leadership. You need the leaders of the game, the people in charge. We set these rules so the guys stay in place. Yeah. And of course, those players want it. Then they got addicted to it. Next thing you know, they're doing them for a decade. The stats are thrown off. I actually think those guys should now get in the Hall of Fame. It's like, and at first I was devastated by that McGuire was like, obviously we kind of saw it, but like almost like a beaten wife. I was like, God, I just want to believe in the Sosa and McGuire thing was so exciting. Yeah. And all that stuff got tainted, but I think it's time to just go, it wasn't against the rules. Yeah. And these guys did it. So baseball, fuck you. And then Bud Selig putting his hands in the pocket, not applauding Barry Bonds as if he had nothing to do with it. It's like, I think it's time for forgiveness. And actually, being on the subject of 12-step programs and stuff, it's like, forgiveness is a big part of that, Mm-hmm. Man, so totally. I'm hoping these guys, Clemens, McGuire, Sosa.
What about Pete Rose?
Canseco doesn't have the numbers.
What about Pete Rose?
Eventually.
Pete Rose is another one too. I mean, how long ago did that happen, and how much has changed? I think since then?
I think behind the scenes, that Major League Baseball thinks he bet against his team and had him lose. I think they must have some type of information they can't completely prove because they have held his feet to the fire bad. But same with Shoeless Joe Jackson. The gambling thing is so severe, and it's just, and maybe rightfully so. I don't know. Arnold Rothstein rigged the World Series. What is that? 1919?
I don't know.
And Shoeless Joe Jackson over 3,000 hits. He's right up there with Pete Rose as far as great players, and they never let him in either because he bet against his own team. So I think that they must have information that
maybe that's not out, that they can't 100% prove or
I think he should be in, but I don't have the info because there has to be a reason that, because public opinion thinks he should be in.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's just entertainment. We're not talking about who controls nuclear weapons, Yeah. So there must be something really egregious we don't know about.
Something keeps clicking on your mic. It might be if you have headphones in, it might be your mic hitting your
no. Is it really? I don't hear. No,
it's just every once in a while it keeps clicking. I don't know. Maybe it's something.
Oh, maybe okay. Yeah, I see what it is. Got it.
But so I wanted to mention too. So my father-in-law, big time Dodger fan from Southern California, grew up on the Dodgers. Man, he cannot stand the American League and like the DH rule. He's one of those guys. He loves that old school baseball mentality, which I admire myself. Where you play small ball, you steal bases, your pitcher hits. That's the game. You know what I mean? And then and you got me thinking about this when we were saying about the juicing up and hitting home runs, where the game kind of changed at that point. It went to more about power hitting and who can score the most runs. There's so much strategy in baseball, and I didn't get a taste of this until I started even just coaching a little bit with Cash as a little guy and started paying attention to it. But I mean, you're thinking 4 or 5 moves ahead. You gotta really watch what's going on, and I feel like it does take away a little bit from the game, the DH rule. But at the same time, most of the time, unless you're like, who's a pitcher that can hit? I think Bumgardner, he can hit a little bit. I know my CC Sabathia, he came out of Vallejo here. I played against him in high school. That dude could rake. But for the most part, most pitchers can't hit. And I want to watch, I do want to watch some hitting. I don't know. What are your thoughts on DH rule and that?
It's like making a guy in a wheelchair play kickball. the pitcher should not be hitting.
That's a phenomenal analogy.
Totally. Yes, they should hire and also it is entertainment. The players, the vets who can't really field anymore should be in the NL as well, hitting the baseball. I don't want to yank a pitcher who might be able to get 5 outs. Let's say Chapman comes in the 8th in the World Series. Yeah. I want him to do 5 outs, and I don't want him to be burdened by hitting.
Yeah.
Not only that, but these guys aren't stretched out, so they're getting hurt at the plate. There was a guy with the Yankees, the kid out of Korea, Wang, back in the day, he came in like third place in the Cy Young, and he sprained his foot rounding the bases and tore up the ligaments in his feet and was never the same. He was an international sensation pitcher, and he had no business running the base. He was running the bases like in his warm-up jacket, coming home, hit his foot on home plate, and never pitched for the Yankees again.
Because of that one play where he destroyed himself.
Ting Wang. I think I had that right.
It sounds
almost like correctly pronouncing these people's names almost sounds racist. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, but we're talking about 15 years ago. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's not ringing a bell for me.
Oh my God, he was phenomenal, and he was a idol in his home country.
Yeah,
and it was like it's a huge baseball tragedy. So no, I don't think pitchers should be hitting. I know what you said, your stepdad or your dad?
My father-in-law, Bill.
Your father. I mean, I know. I certainly know where he's coming from. It's not like he's explaining rocket science. But no, I don't think the pitcher should be hitting. I just don't want him up in big moments, and I don't want him rounding the bases. It's just like you have to work your ass off to learn how to pitch.
Oh yeah,
and you can't learn how to hit at the same time.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sure in high school you were your team's best hitter. You know, our best pitcher in high school, this kid, Joe Tremarchi, was like all-time leading basketball scorer in New York State, phenomenal pitcher, phenomenal hitter. You know, you got to focus on one if you're going to make it to the big leagues. And why put him back up there? I mean, no one's enjoying themselves.
See, I couldn't understand, that as in high school when we played. I went to Wilsey Wood here in Vacaville. We played Vallejo High, which is where CeCe went. He was a grade above me, so I got to hit off him a couple of times, dude. And being a junior in high school, and he was a senior at the time, and I mean he's throwing mid-90s, low mid-90s as a high schooler. But so he could pitch, right? I mean that was a given. He had a Hall of Fame career, just amazing dude, great pitcher. Great athlete for being such a big dude too. But when he would come up, like we played at Keating Park here in Vacaville, and so you had right field, which was like, I don't know, 325, like right center would go out 375, and then you had a road, and then you had this trailer park behind that, right? I saw it. It's apple pie right there. Baseball, trailer parks, and Keating Park right there. But I saw him. He's a lefty. I saw him crush one over the street into the trailer parks back there. I mean, just absolutely so he could hit too, but you don't see most pitchers like that. They can't, and that wasn't the only time I seen him, just mash on some balls like that. But then you go up and you start pitching the big leagues and you don't hit anymore because, like you said, you're focusing all on your pitching. But definitely two different types. Now take a guy like Mike Trout, dude. Do you agree he's the best player in baseball? Now we're talking baseball stuff. I feel like I'm on like ESPN or something right now.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen. Last year I didn't watch a ton of Mike Trout. I mean, baseball is such a specific. Like for me, like I gotta love the team I'm watching because people are like, oh, it's boring, and a lot of it is stats driven. So like with the Yankees, I care if my favorite player gets a single in one inning, even though we didn't score a run. So to tell you the truth, I haven't watched that much Mike Trout. I certainly see the highlights and know that he's phenomenal. And if you're like a real stats geek, I guess he's the best player in baseball. Yeah. But I'm an Aaron Judge guy because I think Aaron Judge has that kind of, obviously I'm a Yankees fan, so it's 100% biased, but he has that kind of clutch driven thing where like he always seems to be in the right spot near the ball, making big plays. Do you know what I'm saying?
He mashes too, man. I actually just saw a video of him the other day, and apparently he's pretty good about signing autographs for the kids. That's so important, man. Yeah, he's
so good with kids, dude.
I mean, that's like the biggest thing, and I feel like there's a lot of guys that are great at that. And like when we go to A's games with Cash, man, the A's players are so good about that with the kids, just interacting. And I would think when you get to the big leagues or something like that, and certain guys can forget that easily where you came from. But for the guys that recognize that, that's what it's about, man. You're playing a kid's sport, and you're giving back to those kids. So it's cool to see Aaron Judge doing that, man. He's really, really good with that. And he hits the ball freaking a mile. Jeez.
I saw him in spring training 1 year. By the way, did that clicking noise go away?
I heard it a little bit just a second ago, but I think you're good.
Did you?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know what
it's not like terribly bad, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he had come up with Yankees one spring training, and then he disappeared for like 5 months. And then I was at a restaurant with my friend Vinny, and he's a huge Yankees fan. And Judge came up and go, yo, this is the guy I was telling you about. And it's his first at bat. And I go, watch this guy hit. And he just knocks it straight out of the park, right over center field. And he's like, what the? I mean, Aaron Judge has like he's got to stay healthy because he's actually playing a little bit too hard in the outfield, and he's too big.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Diving. Because he has a broken rib from last year that the doctors didn't even know about. That's how strong he is. He's like, he was going to be out the first month of the season from last September because he came in this year and he was like, my kind of chest hurts a little bit. They're like, you have a broken rib.
Damn, just a savage still playing.
Yeah, he just dived. Yeah, and then it's like, it's tough though because it's like during the regular season, I don't really want you diving onto your rib cage, but in the playoffs, go ahead, Yeah.
Oh yeah. You got to go balls out in the playoffs.
Yeah. It's pace. Allen Iverson was great at that. Like playing with pace. He goes, I don't go out every play and be like, how dare you say that? He goes, I can't, I'll die.
Speaking of Allen Iverson, a few episodes back, I did an episode called, we're talking about practice. And I played that sound clip of him. We're talking about practice, man. We're talking about practice. One of the best ever, man. One of the best. Hey, speaking of wheelchairs earlier too, I heard you got a dude or a person, who knows if it's a dude or a chick, loose from the Los Angeles County Jail recently. Did you take that wheelchair? Did you put it in your house or what? Yeah,
that's what I'm driving now. It's a convertible.
It's a convertible, baby.
You get lots of sun and lots of arm exercise. Yeah, I don't know what that was because then it had it was just hanging out next to a car at the park.
Yeah.
And then I took a picture of it, and then people were like, actually, they've been releasing people from jail because of the coronavirus, so maybe he just got out of jail. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
And he took the wheelchair.
But it's, it was certainly a sight I've never seen before, and I don't know if they just, like, wheeled this guy out into the street and like, have a good day. And he was like, all right. Because they were probably like, are you happy to be out? You go, ecstatic.
I'm happy.
And so, it looked like something from a movie set, right?
Mm-hmm. It did. I saw it and I had to do the double take. I went, is that Los Angeles County Jail? It is. Yeah, okay. It's out here and it's kind of pushed into the side of the wheel well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty funny though.
Already freaked out from the virus a little bit. And that morning I was particularly spiraling because I think that was the morning that I finally I knew that Howard Stern doctor, that guy's been on before. His name is Dr. Agus.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that once I heard him that I'd have a better perspective, but that photo was taken before that. So it's like, oh my God, there's a virus and people are fresh out of jail living at the park I go to every day. And it was just like, okay, here we go in our brains.
I got Mad Max parked out in front of my house. What the hell is going on?
A snapshot of North Hollywood.
Yeah, man. Crazy stuff. Dude, it's a different time in the world right now, right? I mean, it's just, obviously we've never seen anything like this in the history of our country, really, at least the complete shutdown. But I've really had to give it up myself. Last week I was in a meeting on Monday or Tuesday and I got to pick the topic and I picked surrender just because like there's just shit that I can control and there's shit that I can't control. And most of what's going on right now is out of my control, but what is in my control is me being able to stay positive, support my family, support my friends, try to serve others, offer up resources to help and be there. And that really helps me at least get through, some of this weirdness, because it is a weird feeling, man. It's just a weird time,
Definitely. Yeah. And one of the creepier parts of it is that you don't know if you have it for like 4 or 5 days. Not that you ever did before this with anything else, but you're just like, oh my God, like, did me putting my PIN code in to buy 4 rolls of toilet paper the other day?
Is the toilet paper all sold out down where you're at too?
Yeah, kind of, and then I remember the first time when I first started seeing the social media stuff about it, I walked, Rio, my dog, Rio Barcanero.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We go over to CVS, and that night I wanted a Reese's peanut butter cup. You can just, if you have a dog, you go, let's make an excuse to get out of here, and you wind up walking over to somewhere for any kind of useless mission.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should look at the toilet paper. I knew I had plenty at home, like whatever amount.
Yeah.
And I go, let me just look at the toilet paper, see if it's here. There was one package left, and I bought it. I was like, I don't need it, but I'm going to buy this if it's the only one here. And the next day I went to a different store and was like, I wonder what the toilet paper is like here. And again, Shane, I'm not kidding you. There was one left. So I bought that. I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be I don't want to run out either.
I know. Isn't that funny how we kind of just, we almost do it subconsciously, you know? Okay, well, I'm just going to buy
That'd be great if every time that'd be such a funny business model. Is every time that there's one left, you leave the store and the guy just goes in the back, grabs one more package and puts it back up there.
So there's just one at a time. So everybody thinks they got the last one.
Totally. It's like a reverse musical chairs.
That'd be perfect. I love it. Good stuff, man. Yeah. Rio. I like old Rio, man. He's a good dude. Got to have a dog too, man. You know, it's good.
He is a good boy. We've been eating. We both put on the, he knows when we're talking. He knows I'm talking about. He's so funny. He just rolled over in the stand. He's like, and pet me if you're going to talk about me. We both put on the quarantine 5 in the first 3 days, just eating like slobs. And then, he loved it, obviously. And I looked at myself in the mirror. I go, okay, I can't keep doing this.
Was that due to a full pack of bagels? Is that correct, or what?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I never eat bagels anymore. Being from upstate New York, bagels is 90% of the diet up there.
Really?
Yeah, bagels is just a huge New York thing in general. It's just it's comfort food. It usually is served hot and it's cold up there, so it's perfect, like little sandwich on the go.
Yeah.
And you have a snow jacket to cover up what a bagel does to your body. So,
yeah, much needed.
Right, exactly. A bagel suit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you go. Your body has rolls like a bagel, like a package of bagels. But you know what it was too? There was no bread at the store. The same one with the toilet paper that I go to every day. And then bagels came in, right? And I go, I haven't had bagels in a while. So I got the bagels and I was like, I'll get some cream cheese. And next thing you know, I'm just making bagels with cream cheese and blueberry jam on top. And it was incredible. And I just wound up eating 5 total bagels in 2 days. And then just, I didn't know if I had the virus or just like a bagel hangover. And I felt terrible. I mean, and then I was like, no more of this. Like, I'm not going to just, plus if you get the virus, you got to be healthy if you get it. Cause you got to be ready to fight it.
Exactly. And bagels,
have a bagel body.
Yeah, man. You had the bagel suit going on, man. That's got to be a gnarly shit too. 5 bagels and some jam and cream cheese. Woo! I'm not in that one. No. The
dog had a concerned look on his face when he was at the park. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay. He knew. Yeah. He definitely knew. Hey, so, something else I wanted to kind of chat with you about too a little bit was, we've kind of talked before about some comedy shows where you've had some issues, just being hammered.
Well, what I'll say is, I've been doing comedy 21 years.
Yeah.
I've been in trouble twice, and with clubs that love me and that are like family to me. So you say in trouble, it's not like a boss who fires you, but it's a manager who says to you, "Could you not do that again?" You go, "Yes, I can."
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, and both those kind of revolve around drinking. One was at the Ontario Improv. First day of football, probably 6 years ago, because, life is long. I said that thing about being a B student, but I would say for 2.5 years, I was just an F student of life. Yeah. I'll leave it at that. Had a girl in town I had met in New York 2 weeks earlier, was supposed to do 10 minutes up top, which was a layup at the time. I was hosting for a friend. All weekend long. And when I'm walking to the stage, it's Sunday night, it's going to be a quick 10-minute set. I could do that in my sleep. Manager goes to me, "Hey, watch your language. There's a church group in here." I go, and on my mind, I go, "Got it." And it's full. So it's 375 people. I'm picturing 15 people in the crowd who are from a church. I'm not going to do anything, anti-religious or whatever. I can work that out in my brain quick.
Yeah.
But then I'm up there and I hear this guy go, "Don't say fuck." And I go, why can't I say fuck? He goes, "We're all Christian." And I look out and I realize it's just 325 members of a church. It was 325 black people dressed in colorful suits. And I was like, now it hit me. I go, "Oh, this is an entire church."
Wow.
And I'm like, and I go, "You're all Christian." And this guy in the front goes, we're Catholic Christian. I go, you can't be Catholic Christian. That's like being a taco burrito. It gets kind of a laugh, you know, like I know almost nothing about religion, even though there's spiritual stuff in the 12 step, but
yeah,
I know, you know, grew up, I guess, Episcopalian. I don't even know what that even means, to be honest. So then I go, Mark, do your Pope joke. They're going to love it. They got a good sense of humor. They're here. Mm-hmm. I go, you guys see this latest footage of the Pope? He's driving up a street. There's a handicapped guy in a bed. The Pope pulls the Pope mobile over. He gets out, raises his hand to the sky, touches the handicapped guy, and nothing happens. I go, it's borderline offensive. He's basically saying, look at me. I'm such a great person. I'll touch someone who's handicapped. And they just booed me.
Oh, you got straight booed.
I got booed off stage.
Yeah.
And when black people boo you, they remember your name. These people did not. I mean, they're like, Mark, get off the stage. Some of them, I think, screamed my website.
No.
I got in serious trouble with the club. They wrote a letter about me. It was just a nightmare. But that was that little snapshot. Because if you want to get back, because yours is a sober podcast, and that little, because I didn't mean it. Do you know?
Well, yeah,
I honestly thought they'd like it because I'm not a malicious. When I drank, and I used to drink heavy, I was more of a puddle than a malicious. It's just not part of my nature to be. I would never, even with a church group, even though I don't go to church, I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I thought they'd like it, but being sober, that would have never hit. I would have been much more rational than that. So if you have people listening to this and who are thinking about getting entertainment, I can tell you this without doubt: don't drink before you go on, because it's not going to lead to it'll loosen you up. You go, no, it won't. And if anything goes wrong, it'll be blamed on that, even if you're not in the wrong. Like, well, I ever since I kind of adopted that new principle. One time, this guy was in the audience at the Hollywood Improv, and I think it's on my website actually. I think I have the footage. If you go to my website and videos, I think you can see it. Young kid in the front row, 21 years old. We're from the same hometown. I figured out real quick doing crowd work, and then he's just drunk. And you can he's drunk. He's belligerent.
Yeah.
He's 21. He's on. He thinks the show's about him, and we're. By the way, I'm hosting. Or I'm first. Yeah, I'm first actually, which means first after the host in the comedy world. And he jumped up on stage and jumped on top of me, and he was so skinny because I think he was. He must have been a cocaine addict.
Yeah.
That I just picked him up. Didn't panic and shoved him back into his seat, which is down from the stage. So he could have gone colliding and careening into the crowd. But because he was drunk, and if I had one drink, now all of a sudden, Mark had a drink and this kid in the audience was drunk. So it was two guys who were drinking who got in an argument. Yep. But when you're sober, you go, yo. And everyone's like, you did the best you did. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah, it's a big difference.
Also, there's plenty of like collateral damage where if you're actively drinking in the place you make your money, where you can get in trouble, even though it's not honestly your fault. So, and that was just such a good feeling where I was like, okay, this is the way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Well, just from you and I getting to know each other and me coming down a couple times and stuff, like I really got a insight into the comedy community itself, and it's very tight knit. Everybody knows each other. It's almost kind of like almost like high school in a sense. Is that a fair? I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but like it's kind of like like everyone knows each other. Like there's a lot going on, and how do they deal with? Like, how does a comedy community in general deal with addiction and alcoholism? And I mean, because it's a big part of it. It's
not the issue it used to be.
Yeah, which is good.
But it's something that comics are better at it. But then, like, it's if you're a performer in any way, you're better off. The more healthy you are, the better your stage presence is going to be, and the better your career is going to go.
Yeah.
It's hard though, because in America, we're sold this thing of just like, being out of control is kind of fun. And it is for a little bit. And then everyone knows the classic story. We don't have to go through it all of like, it was fun until it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you're home alone at night. And you're like, oh, wow, it's not what you envisioned. And it's harder than even a movie will make it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's you.
Yeah.
And it's longer, a movie is 2.5 hours. Your life is 24 hours in a day. So it's like, oh, I'm not getting to the resolution where everything is really happy as quickly as I thought.
Yeah.
You know
Well, it's like you have this vision of you envision it this certain way. And this can go kind of, I think, for anything in life when we do something or whatever, and then it doesn't work out like that. It's not like you picture it or you see on the movie or whatever. Most, especially with the comedy community too, most people don't see the grind that you guys go through. I mean, you guys are up, you call it working out, right? Like you get up, is that the correct
yes.
term? You work.
Yep.
I'm working out tonight, man. I'm going to hit a couple clubs. I'm going to do a couple sets. Like there is an unbelievable grind behind that that I got to see a little bit of, which I appreciate, by the way, in hanging out down there. But I mean, the work that goes into it it's really unbelievable. And I can see how it would be easy though to get caught, because there's a lot of waiting around too, right? Like there's a lot of promoting, a lot of waiting around. So it'd be easy to get caught up in the partying
totally.
And that kind
no
of
one's
stuff.
watching you.
Yeah, exactly. No accountability.
Your only accountability is a phone call to your mother. You know, and some managers here and there, like we just said.
Yeah.
So it's like, 100%. Self-discipline is the hardest one. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because then when you book a job, it's much easier. Like I just booked this new thing for Quibi. Hopefully it comes out. Like I'm the host of a show on there called Hot Off the Mic, which is now on. We've only done our first 2. Now it's on pause because of obviously everything that's going on. So when I got that, as soon as I found out, the day I booked it, I started eating raw food, drinking tons of water every day. I dropped like 8 pounds real quick. It's very easy, or for me at least it is, to get disciplined when I have to be. And the problem with entertainment is you don't have to be all the time. So it's like, it's definitely something you're going to want to have in your corner, some friends, or quite a bit of friends who are healthy. You know what I'm saying? And who do activities that are healthy. And so a lot of those friends will be in these 12-step programs. You know?
Are there still a lot of comics or some comics who still, practice drinking and are able to do their job pretty well?
Of course,
to an extent.
Of course, and especially, well,
I mean, it just depends. Probably, I would think on the person, right?
Myself included. You do it better when you're disciplined. Yeah. So of course you can pull it off. Anyone can. It's almost like you're on a much higher wire. Yeah. Yeah. And it's because anything can go wrong, and it could get blown out of proportion, or maybe it's blown in. You're just on a much higher wire. And there's no need to be there. I'll leave it at that.
Well, and that's kind of like what you were saying. It's kind of like what you were saying earlier, though. You're setting yourself up for the best possible chance of success when you're working and you're sober, because then you kind of eliminate any chance of some bullshit happening. Just like you said with the guy in the seat who jumped on you, had you had a couple drinks, whatever, that might have, easily could have went a different way.
Totally. Yeah. Even if I had half of one. Yeah. Because now. Yeah, and it's just, totally.
So you've entertained U.S. troops, man. I wanted to talk a little bit about that too. 35 countries. I think that's great. Is that a little different, obviously, than being in West Hollywood at some of the clubs, or touring in the United States? Probably a different venue, different.
It's a lot different. Because it can happen at any time of day. Mm-hmm. The venues are different because they don't have a stand-up comedy club on base. So sometimes the sound is off, but very appreciative crowds, very intelligent crowds. They like every kind of comedy, from like alternative to mainstream to they would like a prop comic. They just laugh at pretty much anything. Not like buffoons. They just really like comedy and really want it.
Something to take their mind off of all the shit that's going on too, I'm sure.
And we're also, the U.S. military is in some very gnarly places, and some like very unknown places where like the local population doesn't even know the military are there, because they're in plain clothes and they rented out half a hotel and they bought it 20 years ago, and the military is there in plain clothes, keeping an eye on a tense situation around the world. So it's just like, yes, it's different, and every day is a different day when you're on a tour. Yeah. And but they're definitely 100% the best times of my life.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Getting to full. I mean, that's a really a great act of service. You're using a skill. You're using. I always look at this as a gift that I think God gifts us with different things as people in general. And
definitely.
He's obviously gifted you with the ability to be able to communicate with people, make people laugh, have people have a good time. So you're using that gift in order to serve for a great purpose of our troops out there, man. That's pretty damn cool. And you get to go to 35 countries, probably eat some weird shit.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do another one this October.
Really?
Provided everything's back on.
Yeah.
Because the military, they book things, believe it or not, they're organized. They start organizing stuff 6 months in advance.
Oh yeah. I don't doubt it.
Like, yeah. So hopefully that doesn't get canceled.
I know, man. That's and maybe we can kind of, as we start to kind of wrap this thing up, that's a good segue into that. I think is like everything that we're doing right now is really uncertain at this time. And so I think it's a really good opportunity for us to practice just being in the moment. You know what I mean? Staying positive, doing the best we can, trying to serve others, having some fun at the same time. I really appreciate you coming on today and just like, joking around a little bit. We talked some baseball. We're in the moment right now. And that's what's really going to get us through, I feel like, a lot of the stuff that's going on, because most of it is really out of our control.
Yep. And you know what I did last night? Because I was sitting home, my health insurance is Kaiser Permanente.
Mm-hmm.
So I called up their 1-800 number and I go, hey, okay, I feel great. I'm fine. But if I get this, what happens? What should I do? What's my next step? And I got the 800 number to call if I get it. The doctor who's closest to me, I got my insurance card. I got a snapshot of it on my phone. So I think one of the things is like, it's almost like we just said about organizing is like, I just organized this last night. I go, you know what? Because apparently according to Dr. Agus, I'll paraphrase him. This weekend, when are you going to release this, by the way?
Let's see. This is going to come out tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So this weekend's going to be the toughest weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers are going to spike probably pretty dramatically. And by late next week, we should have it under control, because there's 5 million doses of the medication that they think is working on this thing coming in from Israel. It lands in New York on Friday. What did it say? Thursday?
Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're listening to this today, it lands today, and then they'll distribute that. And then also with the isolation, which actually does work, we'll start knocking the numbers down. The people that do get it, we'll be treating them.
Yeah.
What is it, a ventilator or a respirator?
Something like that.
A respirator.
Something.
The respirators will be ready for the most part. And I don't know, but hopefully in the next 10 days or so, they really get this kind of under wraps.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good thought though, too, is about being prepared, setting yourself, because I know for me, like when I'm prepared for something and I'm a little bit ahead, it alleviates so much of the stress and worry, because I know I have a plan. I have some things outlined. Even if it's just my day-to-day shit that I got to get done for work that day, I like to make a list, and then I can go down that list. Yeah. And if I don't, there are certain days when I don't have the list, dude, it feels like just chaos in my brain, and I'm like, I start freaking out.
It feels like when you're drinking and using, you're always 15 minutes late, and when you're sober, you're always 15 minutes early.
Totally, man. Oh yeah, definitely.
For me, that's that little thing, because I'm not, when I'm out there, I'm not a complete and total fuck up. You know what I'm saying? But I certainly don't have my card on my phone ready to go in case I get sick. I don't know the 1-800 number.
Yeah.
I don't. And by the way, I forgot my password. And to get your password on your medical card, that's not just like forgetting your password for your Yahoo account. You got to jump through some hoops. So it's like, that would not be done. I would get sick, wake up, and then be like, oh, you got to log in. And next thing you know, I don't know my password, and I'm yelling at someone on the phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll eventually
Pissed
get
off.
it, and I'll get to the doctors. I, probably won't die, knock on wood. But it's like, but the whole thing would just be more chaos and stress. And like, that's not good for this situation. You know what I'm saying? It's just you just feel so much more settled when you're on point.
Yep. You can be in the moment, relaxed, at ease. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to be at ease with myself,
Totally.
Not always easy.
For sure.
But good stuff, man. I was really, really happy to have you on. Thank you for taking some time and doing the podcast today, man. Where can, I know we mentioned it once already, but where can folks reach out to you? Website, social media? We didn't talk about Last Night podcast too, man. Like, I love what you guys are doing with that. I've been able to listen to a couple episodes. How's that going? Really quick, if you don't mind.
It's going great. Yeah. The host of the show is Adam Ray. I'm his sidekick. I do his news stories, and I also interject in the conversations. We just did a really great one with TJ Miller. That's up there. And if you just do a simple Google search of About Last Night podcast, it'll come up, and you can look at it on whatever platform you want to. because some people listen on Spotify now. Some people have their podcast app and they can automatically download it. But yeah, if you subscribe to it on iTunes, we have, Adam books some of the biggest comedians and biggest actors in the world. Yeah. And Adam also has a new one coming out with Mark Sanchez. So, it's just,
I saw that. Yeah. They were
it's always been yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. They were doing a live, Instagram live or a podcast or something, right? Him and Mark Sanchez. Yeah.
And that just launched. And then as it just launched, this virus came out. So it's like, people are just kind of doing what they can for the next like 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah. But yeah, all those things will be out there. My website is walmart.com. And,
get your toilet paper.
Get anything you need. Just Venmo me. No, it's markscomedy.com, MARKS comedy.com. It has like, obviously dates are on pause right now, but it has like clips in the podcast that I have been on. And like, anything you want to find out about me is on that website.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, thank you again, bro. I appreciate you. Hopefully we can
Oh, you know what it has? I'm sorry. It has the links to my social media up top.
Up top on the website.
My website.
Yep, I'm looking at it right now. I see media, about, videos, all kinds of stuff on there.
Cool.
Yeah. Contact, comedian, actor, and stepson. I love it.
I think that sums it up.
Yeah, good stuff, brother. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on the podcast today, bro.
Thanks for having me, dog. You are appreciated.
Share the podcast with a friend, guys. Thanks for tuning in today. If it's your first time, glad you're here. Keep coming back, man. Check us out at thatsoberguy.com. Connect with us on Instagram at realthatsoberguy, at Shane Raymer on Twitter. Yeah, man. Good times. Peace, love, and respect. Keep your blood clean.